Hello and welcome. We all know labor and childbirth are these incredibly intense, powerful physical events. But what if the real key to managing it all isn't just physical but psychological? Today, we're diving into how your mindset can literally change your entire experience of labor. It's a really interesting question when you stop and think about it, right? I mean, the physical process is pretty much the same for everyone, but the stories you hear are just worlds apart. Some people describe it as pure agony, just awful suffering. And others, they'll say, yeah, it was intense, but it was also beautiful and transformative. So what's the deal?
Well, the answer seems to be all about how our brain interprets what's happening. The very same sensation, the same contraction, can be felt in two completely different ways, and it all comes down to the mental and emotional state you're in when it happens.
This quote from childbirth educator Bridget Taylor just nails it. It perfectly captures that paradox. See, it's not that some people are just lucky and get an easier labor. It's that they have a fundamentally different experience of that labor. And getting our heads around that contrast is the key to everything else we're going to talk about. Okay, so what's behind that negative, excruciating experience? Well, experts have pinpointed a major culprit. It's a self-feeding loop they call the fear, tension, pain cycle. And this is the thing we really need to understand. So here's the breakdown. It all starts with fear. That fear makes your body instinctively tense up, right? And when your body is all clenched and tight, especially when your uterus is trying to do its job, the feeling of pain just skyrockets. And of course, more pain causes more fear, and around it goes, getting worse each time.
So what flips that fear switch in the first place? Well, it's usually these really common feelings. If you go into labor feeling like you have no idea what's going on, or you're in a place where you don't feel safe or supported, or you just feel like you have zero control, your brain's alarm bells just start blaring. Let's look at what's actually happening inside the body. Step 1, fear hits. Boom, your body is flooded with stress hormones. Step 2, those hormones make your muscles clench up, so you're now literally fighting against your own body's contractions. And step 3, that internal battle, that resistance, it massively cranks up the pain signals being sent to your brain. So the cycle turns the productive power of labor into a painful, exhausting struggle. This all sounds pretty bleak, doesn't it? It kind of makes it feel like it's just bound to happen. But what if it isn't? What if there's a way to not just stop this cycle, but to actually flip it on its head and turn it into something positive? So let's talk about that new path. Instead of getting caught in that vicious cycle of fear, we can actually build a virtuous cycle, one that works with our bodies, not against them. Yes, there is absolutely a way out. And the master key that changes everything is one simple but incredibly powerful idea: trust. Trust in your body, trust in the process, and trust in the people who are there to support you. And this is the alternative, the trust, relax, allow cycle. See, when you feel that sense of trust, your body can relax. And when you're relaxed, you stop fighting the contractions. You allow them to work. And that single shift dramatically changes the experience from one of suffering to one of powerful intensity. And when you look at them side by side like this, it's just crystal clear, isn't it? On one side, you have fear, which leads to tension, which leads to suffering. On the other side, you have trust, leading to relaxation, which lets you allow your body to do its thing. The intensity might be there on both paths, but only one of them involves suffering. It's a huge, huge shift in perspective. And this chart just kind of says it all. In that high fear state, your perception of suffering is through the roof. But in a trust state, even with the same amount of physical intensity, that feeling of suffering drops way, way down. You can experience the power of labor without being totally overwhelmed by it. Okay, so theory is great, but how do we actually build this trust? How do we prepare our minds to stay out of that fear cycle when things get real? Let's get practical and talk about the toolkit you need. And this is so important. You can't just wait until the first contraction hits and then decide to be calm. This mental and emotional prep work has to happen all throughout pregnancy. It's about training your mind before the main event.
So here's your prep list. First, learn everything you can. Knowledge is the ultimate antidote to fear of the unknown. Second, don't just push your anxieties away. Bring them out into the open so you can actually deal with them. Third, think through different scenarios. Having a flexible plan builds confidence. And last, but maybe most importantly, build a support team you trust with your whole heart.
And then, for the day itself, you have your in-the-moment tools. Things like focused breathing and rhythmic movement can keep you grounded. Counterpressure can be a lifesaver for the physical intensity. And making sure your birth environment feels calm and safe is non-negotiable. And never forget, that little voice inside your head, your positive self-talk, is one of your most powerful allies.
All right, so we've looked at these two incredibly powerful cycles, one that works against you and one that works for you. What's the single most important idea to walk away with? Let's boil it all down. Here it is. The real mission isn't to get rid of the intensity of labor. That's just part of the process. The mission is to tackle the root cause of the suffering, and that's the fear. When you replace that fear with a calm, educated confidence, you change the entire game.
Because when you get into that state of trust and relaxation, you unlock your body's natural wisdom. Your mind isn't fighting anymore, your body can do its job efficiently, and everything, your mind, your body, and your baby, can all work together in harmony.
So, in the end, it really all comes down to this one question. Biologically, your body is built for this. It knows what to do. The real work is preparing our minds to get out of the way and just trust that process. And that's a question only you can answer. Thanks so much for joining me.